just did the little flinching thing.
Is she falling?
I live for that.
Hey, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Mikey.
And we are Deep Red Pictures.
Today we are going to talk about movies or franchises that would benefit from a reboot, remake, and or requel.
Mikey and I each chose one. We didn't go too in depth with each other prior to this, and we kind of wanted to make it, fun for each other as well. So, Mikey, why don't you start? What would you pick for this?
So, I'm going with a franchise, and the franchise that I have chosen is A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay. And what would you want to see from that?
I don't not anything necessarily in the vein of what Halloween or any of the movies are currently doing, but kind of, I think that there's a strong argument to be made for bringing back some of those legacy characters, and
so a requel.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, but I don't know. That feels dirty to me.
Why do you say that?
It feels lazy. It's what everybody else is doing right now. But I genuinely think that out of all of those franchises, that's probably the only one that had a final girl that was worth rewatching. Had a villain who was very drastically altered by the sequel. So I would say I think A Nightmare on Elm Street could very deeply benefit from it. Go back to that darker humor rather than just
the
humor. Yeah. It's always bothered me, especially the MTV era of Freddy. I feel like they lost a lot of what made that first movie very special.
Yeah. So you think that bringing Nancy back would be their ace in the hole?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, I know they've done it. Dream Warriors is also my favorite sequel in that franchise, so it's just kind of a no-brainer to me, at least.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I think that most fans are itching for a new one, anyways. I know a lot of people are still super. They're very much gatekeepers when it comes to Freddy Krueger, and that only Robert Englund can play him. No one else can play him, and it's unpopular opinion, but the remake, I thought he did okay. Freddy.
Jackie Earle Haley.
He had the voice for it, that's for sure.
Yeah, he had the voice down, and he was menacing. He was genuinely menacing. I think the only thing that movie didn't get right with Freddy was the CGI treatment.
Yeah, his look was very weird, especially in a lot of spots where you pause it. He looks silly rather than actually scary.
Yeah, there's just something off with the approach that they took with the way he looks and everything. But in terms of the performance and stuff, I would say that I think that he was probably as menacing as Freddy in the original, if not more menacing.
Yeah, definitely the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
I rewatched it recently, and I watched the original one, and then I watched the remake right after that, and I can have fun with it.
Yeah,
I don't think that it's as bad as I previously thought it was. I think, though, I've just learned to have, if you have fun with it, you can find things to enjoy about it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to enjoy. Visually, the movie's stunning.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the writing decisions and that were not great.
Well, that was the era too where they were collecting the music video directors to make these movies so that it would at least pop visually, and the nightmare sequences are really cool.
Yeah, I think it was the dude who did the Smells Like Teen Spirit video.
Something like that, yeah. Alright, so A Nightmare on Elm Street is what you pick.
That would be my choice.
Alright, well, mine would be Spawn. I am a big fan of the 97 movie. I mean, obviously it's not a good movie, but it's a massive guilty pleasure. I have so much fun watching that. The 90s cartoon on HBO, the adult rated R one, is actually pretty good. They had the creator Seth MacFarlane kind of come out. Todd McFarlane, that's right. It's not Seth MacFarlane. I always mess that up. But yeah, it's a really good show, and Todd McFarlane came out 10 years ago and said that he wanted to write and direct a reboot of it, and he wrote a script, couldn't find anyone to finance it because he's not a filmmaker or screenwriter.
Yeah.
So, and then finally, a couple years later, he was able to get Blumhouse to sign on to it. But Blumhouse was like, we're going to do this but we're going to bring in our own writers to rework the script, and you're not going to direct. And at that point, I know that he kind of stepped back and was like, okay, that's fine. But he still has like a large hand in like the creative direction. And supposedly, Jamie Foxx is still signed on to play Spawn, and Jeremy Renner was signed on to be one of the supporting detective characters, but I don't know if he's still. I highly doubt it because they both signed on in like 2018.
Yeah.
So what is that? 6 years now. But McFarlane said he wanted it to make it a more like low budget horror movie, make it Spawn much more of like a demonic kind of like a ghost.
Yeah.
And I think that if they were going to do that, they could do well at Blumhouse, because at least they can, if they keep the budget low but not too low, and they make it more of like a ghost story, I think that they could really come out with something cool. I mean, it's not going to be like award winning, but at least something entertaining. Like, I just want something that's like rated R and dark and just like that fits the tone, because the 90s one ended up being very silly. It had that like CGI where you can tell they thought they like were like really like snapped with it.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, like, because that was what, a year before the first Blade movie.
Yeah.
And Blade had those same kind of effects where it was like you said, like they thought they were really doing something.
Everything looks wet.
It looks wet, yeah. And I don't know, but I just, supposedly the movie is going to be coming out in 2025, but the strikes, I think, definitely pushed it back. I know one of the co-writers of the Joker movies is rewriting it along with a couple other dudes. I forgot what movies they did, but there's no like word on like a director or if there's casting changes.
Have you seen any of like that like test footage?
Of what?
Like, I don't know, a few years ago there was like something I think on like Twitter. It was like Spawn in a grocery store.
No. I know that they made like there was like some kind of like short film or something that maybe that was.
Maybe that could have been a part of it, but I want to say it was something related to like what was, in hopes to be production, and it was like some sort of like test footage. But I watched it when it came out. It was really cool actually. Like if they went in the direction that they went with that test footage, it's like watching the real world almost like crumble into what Spawn sees.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't want them to like make him like some like background supporting character in his own movie, because I think that that'll backfire. But if they do something that's not so into the realm of wackiness that some of his story can be, it could be something really cool if they wanted to.
Yeah.
If they like leave the tropes behind, if they just focus on making like their own kind of crafted movie, it would be dope. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying it would be like award worthy, but at least it would be entertaining enough to where I could be like, oh yeah, I'd rewatch this any day, that kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the only thing that they could really do that would like, I don't know, I think greatly benefit them, and it's a no-brainer. Just kind of one of those things. John Leguizamo, bring him back.
Right.
Bring him back.
He's the best part of the
He's the
original.
only good part of the original.
Yeah.
Well, shouldn't say Jai Courtney, is that who? No.
Michael Jai
White?
White, yeah. Michael Jai White.
Yeah, Jai Courtney, that's a white dude.
Yeah, that's Boomerang.
Yeah, Captain Boomerang. Michael Jai White, is that his name? Or are we fucked up right now?
Probably. We'll call him Michael.
The dude who played him in the first movie was actually very good in the role, but...
He was.
Yeah.
He had that voice, too, that matched it.
Yeah. But I feel like when you attach your face to something that's like that catastrophically bad, you probably aren't deserving of a second chance.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that, though. Somebody's gotten a second chance. Who am I thinking of? Butchered first movie. Given a second chance. Fuck.
Ryan Reynolds?
Well, yeah, first outing as Deadpool was really, really fucking terrible.
You mean Green Lantern?
I mean, that works too, but I was talking about his first appearance of, like, as
Oh,
Deadpool
yeah,
and-
that's right, he was.
Excellent
Yeah,
Legends,
that's right.
And yeah, he was given his fair shake.
I didn't know if it was gonna be him or Chris Evans. Remember, Chris Evans was Human Torch.
That's true, and he was also given, you know.
Yeah, but definitely. I think that you know, we could benefit from a new Nightmare on Elm Street, and I think that there's that core audience that would show up for a Spawn movie.
Yeah.
'Cause
No, I think if a Spawn movie were to be made today and like they marketed it the right way and everything, it would absolutely take off.
yeah, and like I said,
Don't do this. Don't do this. Alright, so that has been our thoughts on what films or franchises would benefit from a remake, requel, or reboot.
if you guys have any ideas or any movies or franchises that you'd like to see be redone or a reimagining, so to speak, let us know. We can talk about it.
Yeah, feel free to comment down below.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
But when you do like, again, can't stress it enough. Very gentle with the like button. No smashing. Just
Caress it.
be kind to us. We're fragile.